I must congratulate you all. You are going to step into a very responsible role from today onwards. You'll be getting your law degrees, and I must state before you all that exactly before 15 years, I was sitting there and I was having dreams. A dream which I'm sure many of you would be having in your head, in your heart, that what to do now. So today, while I stand before you, I must mention that yesterday, Member Bar Council called me and he wanted to know if I would be able to deliver a lecture to you all on 75 years of the Constitution of India and on becoming a lawyer and sharing my experiences with you, and also throw light on the character of a great personality our Indian history had witnessed, Sri K.M. Munshi ji, who was member of the drafting committee of the Constitution of India. So I'll try my level best that it becomes a little interactive session wherein you are not bored and you are able to participate in this lecture. I'll be having certain questions also, and there will be a reward for whosoever answers to those questions. The topic for today's lecture is 75 years of Constitution of India and role of Sri K. Munshi ji in the Constitution of India, which we all read today. So my fellow law students and ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you that the 75 years have been very remarkable for developing this Republic of India. As you are all aware, the Constitution of India is the largest written constitution in the world. I am sure that you all know the oldest constitution of the world is, any guess? Oldest constitution of the world. Audience, any guess? There will be a reward. British? No. It's United States of America. Ours is the second oldest constitution of the world. So if we see that how we have developed ourselves and how our constitution has developed in last 75 years. While I was a student of law, speaking practically before you, I never got opportunity to reflect on this subject, that how we have developed, how our constitution has developed in last so many years while I was studying law in my law school. But now every day in practice, when I see that how our law and constitution is evolving, I am sure this audience, most of the people present here, I believe, are the law students who are getting their degrees. They are aware that in our neighborhood, the countries surrounding us, for example, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, they have changed their constitution as many as 3 times, 5 times and 6 times. Nepal changed for thrice, Pakistan 5 times and Sri Lanka 6 times. So ours is the only constitution, despite this nation being so vast, so many diversities, cultures, religion, and yet imagine we are surviving every test. I am sure this audience would be aware that the task of drafting this constitution was given to 7 members, and those 7 members had galaxy of stars. Galaxy. Everybody was somebody in that 7-member drafting committee. Drafting committee was headed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. The other names which we have not heard and read much in our law school. One of the lesser name was Sri K.M. Munshi ji. He was a practicing advocate, a socialist, he contributed immensely in the constitution which was earlier drafted. There is a second question for the audience, if anybody can answer, and there will be a chocolate reward for it. How many years, months, days the drafting committee took to draft our constitution? Anybody? Years? Yes, 2 is yes. Months? Very good. 17 days. So you were close. Very good. So multiple debates, hundreds of debates I would say, by the Constituent Assembly. And when the constitution was finalized after 2 years, 11 months and 17 days, our first Prime Minister of India, he remarked, that's a very lengthy constitution. Then Shri K.M. Munshi ji, who was a lawyer himself, he replied to that remark that it is not lengthy. We are a new country. We just faced communal violences. So therefore, let's put everything in written. Let's have rights, rules for everything. Let's have a social representation, social, cultural representation for everybody. Because as I'm sure you all are aware, there were princely states. There were so many languages, cultures. So it was remarked by Shri K.M. Munshi ji that we are not only building the constitution, we are building a great nation. And as you are witnessing today, it's been 75 years. Now we are in the 76th year of the Constitution of India. I would fail in my duty if I do not mention that Shri K.M. Mishra ji, he was an architect in bringing Articles 29, 30, what we read in our Constitution, present Constitution of India, Article 29, 30, cultural and educational right of minorities. He was an architect of bringing those articles. Apart from that, he also voiced his opinion for uniform civil code, what we read in article uniform civil code. Anybody? Yes, good. Article 44. So that was Shri K. Munshi ji. So ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow law students, I must tell you, the initial 15 years after we became the Republic, were very challenging. Starting from 26th of January 1950 to, I would say, in my words, still I believe 1965. And why I call them, they were very challenging for this nation. Because we were a new country and we were evolving ourselves. There were a lot of agricultural reforms which were brought in by the parliament, by the lawmakers. And every time they were challenged and there were amendments. So initial 15 years were very challenging for the people and the constitution. However, we as students of law and practitioners of law must take pride in one fact, that our courts were supreme. The Constitution of India says the people are supreme. I must place before this august audience, this august house, that Supreme Court of India was true to its expectation. The judges were very brave. I am sure you must have heard of Justice H.R. Khanna in Kesav Nanda Bharti case, when he gave his dissenting opinion, dissenting verdict. The Supreme Court of India was Supreme Court for the people of India. And while I discussed the initial 15-20 years, and now we are throwing a light on last 75 years to the Constitution of India, I must also mention that we have seen and we have some black dots also in this remarkable history of 75 years to the Constitution of India. What are those black spots which still haunt us? I would like to involve this audience in this discussion. The black spots in our 75 years. Anybody? Black spots. You see that this was a very strong phase, a test of democracy, a test of the courts. Yes, emergency. And while we were having emergency, the parliament said that whatever we have immense power, the Supreme Court and High Courts cannot interfere in our lawmaking power. And I'm also sure that the law student must have read about 9th schedule. So a law parliament would enact and they would put it in beyond the judicial review. And then there was a real test of lawyers, judges in the Supreme Court of India. One such brave judge was Justice H.R. Khanna. Because during emergency, the parliament said that no, while we impose the emergency, we can even suspend your right to life, which is guaranteed under Article 21 to all of us, that we can even take away your right to life also. Then Justice H.R. Khanna held that no, you can't touch upon the fundamental rights. Right to life is everything to each one of us. So our constitution has seen many tests in these 75 years. And I am sure now we will have the Republic of India, that is Bharat, will have a glorious future ahead. Because we have sensible and educated youth who are pursuing law, who are joining judicial services. They will dispense their duty diligently. So now, having spoken about the last 75 years of the Constitution of India, I wish to switch to the second part of this lecture, and that is becoming of a lawyer. And in becoming of a lawyer, I am sure we share our stories, whatever we have learned. And I was telling you exactly 15 years ago, I was sitting right there. I was one of you. And maybe after 5-10 years, one of you would be standing here and delivering a lecture. So yesterday when a request was made to me whether I'll be able to deliver a lecture to you all, I thought I should not miss this opportunity. Though I must confess that it is for the first time I'm addressing this large audience. So I was having very limited time to prepare the subject, and I thought that I must speak my heart out. That how I have seen the Constitution, my learnings as a lawyer, and I must also point out, I see most of the people, the students, the fresh graduates who are present in this audience are from small towns. I was one of you. I am one of you rather. I am from small town. To be a lawyer was my dream. It is a passion for me, canvassing the cause of litigants before courts. So when I am switching to the second phase of this lecture, that on becoming a lawyer, I must point out that while I read a little that what content should be delivered to you all. So while I was preparing my lecture, I was doing my homework, I came across a very interesting article. I am sure you must have heard of a name, a great judge of US Supreme Court, Phoenix Frankfurter. He was one such judge who was consulted by one of our member of drafting committee of the Constitution of India. So you can imagine that he was such a legal luminary that he was consulted by one of our member of the Constitution, of the Constituent Assembly. So a young 12-year-old boy wrote a letter. He was a 12-year-old boy from Virginia, somewhere in United States. He wrote a letter to Justice Phoenix Frankfurter, that, "Sir, I wish to pursue law. Please guide me." So the advice of Justice Frankfurter is noted in couple of books, the famous law books. And I will read it, I should read it as it is. I'll quote unquote the advice of Justice Frankfurter to that 12-year-old boy who wanted to pursue law. That what you see and what you will be seeing. So I wish to read that for you. So what Justice Frankfurter wrote to that boy was, "The best way to prepare for the law is to come to the study of law as a well-read person." I'm reading it slow. Please try to understand it. It has very deep meaning. The best way to prepare for the law is to come to the study of law as a well-read person. That alone can acquire the capacity to use the English language on paper and in speech. And with the habit of clear thinking, which only a truly liberal education can give. So now the next line is very important, please note. I follow this advice. Though I read it, but I learned it from many mentors in the bar. This is very important for young lawyers who have dreamed to join bar associations now and intend to practice. It says, so stock deposit your mind with much good reading. Widen and deepen your feelings by experiencing as much possible wonderful, mysterious of the world, and forget all about your future career. So you have to spend time on reading. So now I must mention that how when I was sitting there as one of you and thinking of collecting a degree here and a photograph with the Honorable Judge, I had two feelings and two thought process constantly going in my head. Whether should I pursue my passion, that is practicing law before the courts in India, and which court, this is very important, which court. That was first. Second, should I secure a career for myself as a government officer in any of the, whether in Indian Army or, because I have a background, my father was in Indian Army. So many of my friends are presently serving as army officers, the best friends. So I also wanted a secure career for myself so that I can have a decent salary, get married on time. Because law initially is very challenging, and what we hear from our immediate seniors with whom we have a casual interaction, they say it is very challenging, don't come to practice. And if you are a first generation, no, look for a secure career somewhere else. So my friend, while I had graduated from my law, from Army Institute of Law. After graduation, I had little time. So in that little time, I came across a biography of Shah Rukh Khan. In that, he writes, as I'm sure people who watch movies, they must have heard that he is married to Gauri Khan. So before his marriage, he was so dedicated and committed in a relationship that he shifted to Mumbai. And Mumbai, even today, it is not easy. Even at that point of time, it was not easy for a first generation actor. So he said, I was standing at the Marina Beach. That's Marina Beach, if I'm not wrong here. Marina Beach. So he was standing on one midnight at the Marina Beach, and he was not getting any work. So he cried loud. And he said, while I was crying, I promised myself that one day you will rule this Mumbai. And today, as you all know, rest is history. So when people, my immediate seniors, colleagues, they told me that you are a first generation lawyer and you will not be able to survive in profession because यहाँ पे तो उनके पास केस आते हैं who are sons or daughters of senior advocates, judges, and who had a house in Chandigarh. I was not having a house in Chandigarh at that point of time. Then I promised myself, and I was reminded of this story from Shahrukh Khan's autobiography. Not biography. That no, I will survive in this high court and in this city. So today, after 15 years, one thing I wish to mention, that I thank God that I opted to practice law. And with God's blessings, whatever little you can think of, little work, and whatever little things you can think of, I have it. Because that was a promise to myself. So each one of you who is present here in this house, let me tell you, I am speaking from my own experiences, that it is possible for a first generation lawyer, because you will see that the judges, why I am having, I want to have a direct interaction with you, you will see that judges are also, many of the judges are first generation, they were first generation lawyer, and now they are elevated to the bench. So they also see sincerity, hard work, ethics of a lawyer, and they promote a lawyer more who is self-made, who is first generation. It is very encouraging, trust me. I'm practicing mainly in High Court. It's very encouraging. Judges do promote such hardworking, sincere and ethical lawyers. And especially youngsters. A youngster with good command on his brief, please note the youngsters here, a youngster with good command on his facts and on his brief can secure a better order for his client than a designated senior or a senior advocate. Because we have nothing to lose, we'll put in all our heart and soul into that brief. So therefore, don't be discouraged if somebody says that first generation lawyers, no. Look for a secured future somewhere in some government job or somewhere, in some private sector, some law firm or somewhere. The promise which I made to myself, every day I am reminded of it. Let me quickly go through if I have left something. Yes. So I have a couple of associates joining me who are like you, who are freshly graduates. So they, at times when we are done with our court cases, they ask me that what is that advice which I wish to pass on to them. They're also first generation lawyers. So one such piece of advice I give to my associates is that please develop public relations. I'll come on to the second advice, why public relations are important as a lawyer, and that too as a practicing lawyer. Before me joining the bar, I studied in army schools all throughout India since my father was in army, and thereafter my law school from Army Institute of Law, 5-year law, BA LLB. So we were a very close-knit society. We don't know much people outside, neither in our village nor in our town. The only family which we know is our army family. But the moment I came to the profession, the first question was of procurement. That how would I procure the cases, whether a district lawyer, whether I practice in district court or in high court. So there I realized that I need to build my public relation. Because who will send you cases will be your friends, your extended family members, your relatives in villages, small towns. So there, please build your public relations. That's very important facet for a lawyer. The second aspect, once the public relation is there, then they should see those people in your surroundings, whether in your local, in your village, in your society where you are residing. They should trust you. They should see you that you are a sincere man who would diligently and very sincerely canvass his cause before the judge, before the court. So then you should have this sincerity backing you. The third is command over language. As you are aware, the initial draft, the Constitution of India was only in English language. So please develop and have command over English language. हिंदी इज इम्पॉर्टेंट. अगर कुछ बात कहनी है, समझानी है, जो बात हिंदी में समझा सकते हैं वो हम अंग्रेजी भाषा में नहीं समझा सकते. बट इट इज़ अ लैंग्वेज practiced in, we use in all high courts, even in Supreme Court of India. And while associating with you all, majority of you all, since majority I see audiences from small towns like me, I was also initially hesitant, and my command over English, or I was very poor in it, very poor. Even today I am developing. So therefore, do not hesitate. Have a command over language. This is a very important aspect. Now, this I have talked about you as a lawyer on becoming a lawyer. Now, many of you would be thinking your career in law firms. I must tell you, it is equally good. Many of my friends who graduated with me from law school are working in good law firms in India. So the role they are playing, the work from their chambers they are doing, their contribution is immense. And yes, they have a good security in terms of money they get, because in law practice we initially get very little, only for the survival. So therefore, the corporate practice, the law firm practice is not bad. They earn very good, and they contribute equally in the nation building, in the constitution building, in the rule of law. One more aspect which I wish to, it is associated with what I narrated you, the story of Shahrukh Khan, the self-belief. I deliberately, I do not want it to miss on this word self-belief. We must have self-belief that I will do it. And I only had self-belief when everybody said that you should consider your decision. But I said no, I will back myself. And this self-belief is very important. So therefore, friends, have self-belief. So now, since we are running short of time, I want you to raise your questions, your queries with regard to the topic, the Constitution, on becoming a lawyer, any other query regarding to the profession. I'll be happy to answer and dispel any doubt or anything in your head. Anyone? Any query? Any question?
Good afternoon. Myself, Arvind. I just want
Yes,
to ask one question.
Sir, good afternoon.
Sir, how do you see the fundamental
I
duties
just want to
in
ask
respect
one
of
question.
fundamental rights?
Sir, how do you
Is it
see
equally
fundamental
important
duties
or there
in
is
respect
something
of
else?
fundamental rights? Is it equally important or there is something else?
Very good afternoon, Mr. Urban. Well, yes, when we talk about nation building, and nowadays you see a lot of protests happening all over India. If we have a law, people rise up, no, it is our right and we must have it. No, they are forgetting their duties as well. So we as informed citizens, we must understand what are our duties to this nation. If we have to build a great nation, a great society where there is tolerance, and when we are developing country and we are competing with China, United States, we have to unite as a nation together. No doubt rights are important and rights are protected by the Constitution of India. But we should be aware with our fundamental duties also, that and I think every drop counts. Each one of us has to take the responsibility. If whatever little lecture from my little wisdom I have delivered to you all, I did not read. I thought I must share my heart with you all. So even if 2 out of you walk out of this auditorium and think over it and decide to back yourself in whatever decision you will take, I think my purpose will be served, even if 2 out of you. So yes, I hope I have answered your query. Yes, any other, please?
Myself, Amarjit
Yes.
from Munshi.
Sir is there.
My question is very simple.
Very good morning.
What is the difference between an advocate and lawyer?
My question is very simple. What is the difference between an advocate and lawyer?
This question often comes up in general public, that what is the difference between advocate and a lawyer? Sir, advocate is also law qualified and so is a lawyer. And advocate is the distinguishable factor between the two is advocate practices law. He advocates the cause of a litigant before the court. Lawyer may be sitting at home, he may be advising, he may be doing chamber advices, like what we see in corporate sector. But advocate is one who advocates the cause of a litigant before the court. That's right, Mr. Munshi? Any other question, please? We have one hand here on the left.
What is the difference
Hello, good
between
morning,
to practicing district court
What is the
or high
difference
court,
between
which is more?
to practicing
And the second is,
or high court?
second question is,
Which more
what is the
beneficial? And the second is
difference
second
between
question is,
arbitration
what is
or
the
adjudication, which is more
difference between arbitration
beneficial
or
in today's
adjudication, which is more beneficial in today's scenario?
Sir, 2 very good questions. When I was pursuing law, so even the first question came to my mind that whether I should start my practice from, or whether I should confine myself to the district court or should I switch to the high court. And what is the life like to be a lawyer of a district court and to be a lawyer of high court after 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? Well, I must give you a picture what I stand through my eyes, through my lens. The real practice and procedure of law is followed before district courts. The real test of a lawyer is before district court. In high court, we only interpret and see the lacuna in the evidence. And we point out to the bench that, see, this was the evidence and the court has not considered this and therefore it is erroneous, illegal, or this was the law and the court has not considered this. I'll give you a very recent example what I faced. I was drafting appeal against acquittal in a 138 negotiable instrument complaint case, जो check bouncing का case होता है. So why I said that the role of a lawyer, district court, why the district court lawyers should be more equipped with law, with procedure and practice. The complaint which was filed by the lawyer, the first in Negotiable Instrument Act, जो चेक बाउंसिंग के केसेस होते हैं, आई एम श्योर काफ़ी लोग यहाँ पे जो who are not associated to law, but I must mention that how the practice, the procedure goes, that after a check bounces, it is dishonored by the bank, a legal notice is sent by the lawyer. That is the first step. And once, even after lapse of time given, mentioned in the legal notice, the accused does not respond, then we file the complaint under section 138 of Negotiable Instrument Act. So what the flaw the lawyer did, the first flaw which he did while sending the legal notice, he did not mention the date, the month, the year when this check was issued or when this money was taken from the complainant by the accused. First lapse by the district court lawyer. And why it is important? Why, if I decide to practice, why I should be equipped with law? Why I should read? So what lacunas he left? First lacuna he did not mention. Second lacuna, the check was given by a company. He did not implead the company as a respondent, accused. So that was the second lacuna. He thought it's very casual. You know that this person who had lended you money, he gave you checks. He did not even bother to notice that what is the stamp on the check, who has issued this check. So therefore, even for a district court lawyer, it is very important. So your query that what is the difference between a district and a high court lawyer, I would say that district court lawyers play a very vital role in law making, in dispensation of justice every day. Because ultimately, for the first time, the client comes to the district court lawyer and then he asks, even if he has to file a writ under Article 226 in the High Court, that Bauji, this is the problem, ये मेरी समस्या है, मुझे बताओ क्या करूँ, किस वकील को एंगेज करूँ, या आप कर दो. फिर वो बताएगा नहीं नहीं नहीं, इसमें सिविल सूट नहीं फाइल हो सकती, इसमें तो आप हाई कोर्ट जाइए, रेट डलेगी. So district court lawyer plays a very vital role. In High Court, we, as I pointed out, what is our role and duties. So therefore, there is larger responsibility on the shoulder of a district court lawyer. And yes, one of the aspects which we all consider, whether they earn less. No. The top lawyers in district court who are more equipped with law, understanding of law, they earn at par with the high court lawyer. As regards your second query, arbitration and adjudication. Arbitration is a mode of alternate dispute resolution. कोर्ट में ना जाके, कोर्ट में आप कोई दावा फाइल करोगे, आप उसमें कोर्ट फीस लगाओगे, एविडेंस, बहुत टाइम लगता है. आर्बिट्रेशन इज डे टू डे, पूरे दिन चलती है आर्बिट्रेशन. इट्स अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग एवेन्यू. दो माई प्रैक्टिस इज मेनली ऑन द क्रिमिनल साइड. I do some civil matters also, but I do not have much experience of the arbitration, except I participated in as a counsel in 2 arbitration. But yes, it's a way of alternate dispute resolution. You get faster and speedy justice, speedy adjudication there. So your question was arbitration, adjudication, the final adjudication. So you get speedy adjudication in arbitration. It's cost effective also. So nowadays Honorable Supreme Court is promoting a lot of arbitration. So it's a very interesting avenue. If some of you are considering, in private contracts there is an arbitration clause. So if there is an arbitration clause, then you cannot approach courts. So you may consider arbitration as a venue
As of
of
first
practice.
impression,
young lawyers,
Yes.
there are
Moving on to the next
struggles,
question.
everyday struggles in the initial
As
first
of first
couple of
young
years,
lawyers,
including
there are
financial
certain struggles,
constraints, lack of
everyday struggles in
appearances,
the
and
initial
sometimes
first
scolding from a
couple of
senior.
years.
How
Financial
can a
constraints,
person,
lack of
a first
appearances, and
generation young
sometimes
lawyer,
scolding from a
get
senior.
through that
How
daily struggle
can a
of
person,
putting the
a
practice
first
and
generation
continuing
young
it?
lawyer, get
What
through
is your
that
advice?
daily struggle of putting the practice and continuing it? What is your advice?
Very good question. Well, the daily struggles of first generation lawyer in initial couple of years, I would say that one need not give up. You know, there is this Sanawar school up hills. Have you heard of Sanawar school? It's a very famous boarding school. So in Sanawar school, as you enter, it's a boarding school, I believe up till class 12th. कहाँ से I think 6th से 12th है, I do not know. So there is a quote as you enter the Sanawar school that never give up. So never give up. Your senior will scold you. Judges might scold you, bench may scold you because they ultimately want you to become a better lawyer. So don't give up, and yes, you earn a little less, but I believe that little less, focus on the brief which is before you. Prepare it well. You will get this much, which will be enough to sustain you. Dal roti khao,
Good morning,
prabhu ka
sir.
guna.
My name is
Right.
Ridhima.
Now we had a hand there.
We found
Good morning,
a
sir.
case
My name is
of
Ridhima. I
criminal
want to
or
ask you sometimes
a guilty
we
one.
found a
Should
case
we do justice for our
criminal
constitution?
or a guilty one. Should we do justice for our constitution?
Okay, I think you want to ask. I'll simplify it. You want to ask.
Okay, I think you want to ask, I'll simplify it. You want to ask, while you file a criminal case, whether you should be true, whether you should lie for your client, whether you should be true to the constitution and to the books. What should we do? Right? This is your question, right? Okay. At times, it's not, since I told you I'm practicing mainly on the criminal side. So there was a client who allegedly murdered his wife in a Dory death case. He used to tell me everything. He used to tell me while he used to call me from the jail STD. And he used to tell me all the lacunas in the case, in the evidence. As a lawyer, at times you can make out that yes, he is guilty. But please understand, our role and our job is to canvass and plead the case of a client from the documents. At times it happens that we build a bias in our head that no, this person is wrong. But after having interaction with that person after 5 years, we get to know that no, he is a fair man. Right? So don't have this doubt in your head that whether you should defend a criminal, because we should always adopt the righteous path. So our duty is to canvass the cause of a litigant before the court. It is the duty of the judge or the court to convict him or to acquit him based on documents, based on evidence. So don't form opinions, please. In law, we are lawyers, we are not judges. It is the duty of the judge to judge a person. We are to plead his case. We will plead no matter what. Whether he is convicted or acquitted, we will plead. Diligently, sincerely and ethically. Ethics is again a very important aspect in a lawyer's life. Please understand, I missed this very important aspect. Please understand, it will pay you in longer run. Ethics. At times we feel that ले लेते हैं, unfair means adopt कर लेते हैं. But no, please draw a line. Because God is giving you bread. Butter will follow after some time. Don't be enamored by senior lawyers driving those luxury cars. When I joined the bar, I used to go on a bike, and today God is kind on me. So don't be enamored by the senior lawyers driving those luxury cars, having big houses. They are byproduct. Money is a byproduct. It will follow. But be ethical. Never. God is giving you bread. Work hard. I follow this principle. I from this stage, and I am wearing my black coat. the coat I wear every day in the courtroom. Because at the end of the day, while you go to bed, and while you next morning when you are ready to go to the court and you are standing before the small temple in your house, you have to answer. So please be ethical and don't adopt the unfair or short means. They are temporary. Long back, allegedly a lawyer, when I was new in the bar, I must mention this off the record, though it is being video recorded. Long back, a lawyer allegedly demanded some money for bench, and the client got up in the courtroom. The matter was investigated. He demanded X amount. That X amount is nothing, though at that point of time it was huge. But I don't see that lawyer anymore in the High Court, in the bar. So run the marathon. It's a marathon. Don't look for sprints. It's a marathon. 15 years. It's been 15 years I'm practicing. So look for marathon. Lambi race ke ghode. Any other questions? Yes, one last question please, and then we'll
Sir,
wrap
I
up.
want to know from your experience of 15 years that in district courts we follow particular kind of drafted formats, and especially when it comes to bring the truth before the honorable court, the electronic evidence which comes from police officials, that is kind of, we treat it kind of genuine. We advocates don't use that electronic evidence. Maybe we can say lack of evidences to prove it, right? So, in your 15 years of experience, what's your stand? What you feel, what our honorable judges think, how we can use that electronic evidence in our civil suits, even defending our cases? That's I am
even defending our cases. That's I want to know.
Okay, a very good question, which we know the hurdles which we face while practicing before the courts, be it mostly before the district courts. I must mention that many of us, and I include myself in that, we do not know what is the procedure prescribed to take that electronic evidence out, and how to put it before the court, and how to call that witness. And there we fail. The example which I just pointed out in 138 Negotiable Instrument Act, lawyers do not, most of us do not know the procedure, and that is where the justice fails. So while coming to the electronic evidence, as you pointed out, we must know that how would we save the skin of our client, that whether, and how to lead this evidence, and what certificate, as I'm sure you have asked this question, you must be aware of 65B certificate. How this certificate is to be led, how to call a witness who is bringing this evidence. So therefore, unless we will read the judgments, we will read the law, we will not know that how to lead it. We will not see the best of lawyers arguing in court. It is very important for us to see. When initially I joined the bar, I was having very less work. So what I used to do, I used to sit in courtrooms and I used to watch greats argue. And then it is also very important to know what not to argue, what not to plead. In cross-examination, I'm sure it's such a double-edged sword. At times you ask a question, it goes against you. So therefore it is very important to know what to argue, what not to argue, what to lead, what evidence to lead, what not to lead. Else it will put your client in a dock and he'll be in trouble. And thank you so much for bearing with me for last half an hour. It was a great pleasure interacting with you all and delivering this whatever little I know. I'm not an expert, but yes, whatever little I know, I shared that with you. Thank you for your time. God bless you all. Jai Hind.